My name is Bill Dawson. I've been in real estate for about 16 years.
And where are you from?
I'm from Arizona originally. I currently reside in the Tucson area. Conventional brokerage is pretty simple. If you have cash, you can buy something. Exchanging is deciding how that you can move your money and protect yourself from either taxation, move into a property that you need to do a little creative financing to get into, or just change out of an area that you're decided you've had enough of the area, you want to move to a different area. It's all, exchanging's not area bound, it's not state bound. You can go into industrial properties, commercial properties, housing properties, any kind of development properties. It's pretty simple. Well, you can expand the market. You get some tax credits. You can move a property if you have depreciated that property all that you can. There are creative ways to where that you can still hold that property and create a new depreciation schedule by still owning the same property. That's one benefit. Another benefit that you can use is you can take the property and you can use it to move up. If you had a property that was worth $200,000, you wanted to have more income coming in, you're looking at a property that may cost you $1 million. How do you use the property that you have instead of having to go get a note with a financial institution to be able to buy a property of higher value that brings you more money? No, I've started exchanging small things when I was a child, and I was not in real estate all of the beginning formative years. I was a principal in real estate. I bought real estate. I traded real estate from one ranch to another, from one farm to another, from one house to another, long before I knew that there was actually an organization that you could be involved in that would show you a lot of the finer points and how to do it so that you can better protect yourself with your exchanges and with your tax purposes. Your financial portfolio can increase a lot by using the exchange process. Counseling is the number one thing that you can do with your clients so that they have to have an understanding. Clients do not understand when you say, here, I'll tell you what, let's take your $1 million, whether it be a commercial property or whatever, and I'm going to help you use that $1 million to move into another one. They think you're off the wall. There's got to be some hidden concept, some glitch. All of these things have to be talked through, and it takes sometimes 4 or 5, 2 to 5 hour sessions for the client to totally understand. They have to understand all of the different moving parts that you're doing within an exchange so that they are comfortable with it. And those folks who are not willing to go through the process of learning how exchanging works, the benefits to them, that they should contact their tax accountant or their tax attorney, their attorney for what they're doing. Tax people and attorneys don't, as a majority, they're like most real estate agents, they do not understand how this is. So it's not just a simple thing of teaching the client. Their accountant learns, their attorney learns, they check it out, they find out that this is not only just 100% legal, but it is a very safe way to invest, to move up in properties or to move them into something totally different rather than a real estate property. People haven't had the need to be familiar with how do I exchange my house for a house across town. They are simple. They go to the bank says, okay, I'm loaning the buyer for your house the money, you take the buyer's money, you go take it across town, the bank says, I'll loan you some more money on that house. It's a very simple, not hard thing to do if you have decent credit. And so the need for someone learning the exchange market, there is no need for it. And when times are really tough, you can't borrow money, or money is very tight or very at high interest. That's when you learn how to find another way. It's either a necessity of one way or the other, or they begin to understand how much advantage they can make exchanging properties, adding money, boot, or adding two properties to get into one that has a higher value than both of the properties that you're exchanging, how to create private notes, how to do a lot of things without having to go to a conventional bank. That is the key to a lot of exchanging. You don't need to go to your banker. You don't need to say, hey, Mr. Banker, I need to do something different. It's all creativity, but it is open market creativity. So the market will dictate to you how much creativity, as well as the person that you're working with on their property, how creative are they? If they're not creative, if all they've ever done is sell for cash money, you have to be able to talk to them and educate them the same way as your client would be educated, so that you can move forward. Once both parties have a good understanding, both are comfortable, you can make some really good trades. There's probably no end to what I've taken rather than cash. Don't take somebody's wife or something like that, but I've taken cars, trucks, boats, planes, cattle, horses, saddle.
Something to get the deal started, right?
Anything of value. Anything that you have that has a value that I can sell, I can use it as trade, I can do something with that. All we have to do is establish the value. You cannot establish value just by saying you have an appraisal. An appraisal is just an opinion of value. If John comes to you and says, hey Bill, I'll give you $10,000 and I'll write the check today as a down payment, I know what that $10,000 value is. That's what happens within exchanging. If John has a house and he says, I want $200,000 for my house, and I want $300 for mine because it's a little bigger, a little better. Comps have some to do with it, but not everything. As long as we agree that their value will accept and they accept our value, it makes no difference what price you put on it. It may not be the actual price of the property. It may be higher, it may be lower. But the benefits that each side is receiving are what makes up the difference in values. I have the same clients that I started with 15 years ago. Every once in a while I add a new client. I've done millions and millions of dollars worth of business with them. I won't give you an exact amount, but you can take it to the bank, it's a lot of money. Because time changes. A person's need changes. The same person that needed something today, 6 months from now, they may need exactly the opposite of what they needed today. So by exchanging, you are able to help fill the needs that they have, even though they change. We're all on first name basis. We go to each other's places at different times. I'm invited to stay at their house anytime I go, because a lot are out of state, some are out of country. Same is true for me. You usually don't see that in the normal real estate world, because you're always taught to keep your client at an arm's length, that you don't get too close to them. You don't know too much about them. All you're interested in is how much money do they have and are they willing to spend it today. Exchanging is different.
Is there a formula you've used in the past that you could explain?
Most formulas that I use, the biggest formula, it's real simple. What's the value of what you have? What's the value of what they have? What are you willing to accept? Are you willing to accept something other than cash money? If you need cash, are you willing to put that cash to it? Do you have the cash? If you have no cash, you can't quite meet it. What else do you have? Do you have a boat? Do you have a new car? Is it free and clear? All properties that are free and clear are easier to exchange. Those properties that have debt on them can also be exchanged. So each thing has a formula, and because it's not just an easy thing of saying, oh well, it's simple, formula XYZ, it fits all. No, each exact exchange may be similar to the other one, but there's always a caveat that will change up what you're accepting, where you're moving to within this formula, so that you can make both parties happy. The only good exchange is an exchange where both parties feel like they came out on top. Both parties are 100% happy.
Do you feel like in this group, in exchanging in general, that there's more camaraderie?
Relationships are everything with any business. And within this group, you build relationship. If I'm a new person and I come to this group, I don't have any relationship. I have to step up and build those relationships with the people within the group, because the people within the group, they're no different than any other business. They've seen a lot of people come and a lot of people go. Not all people are great. So relationship with your client is number one. Trust between your clients and you is number two. And number three is trust and relationship between the people that you're working with in an exchange. There's no hiding. You might have to dig a little bit. Everyone is pretty open, but no one is going to give you the Bible and say, follow the 9 rules in the Bible, and it's like a 12-step program, you're done. You can do anything, because you're learning a different way of using money, because your property is dollars. It's just property. If you sell it, it becomes dollars. If you exchange it, it becomes dollars. So as the group will give you education on what to look for, how to work with your clients, you can have mentors from the group. You can come to all of the education process within the group. You will gain more information and more sales by going through this group than you will in 10 years working as an MLS agent. The amount of education and the amount of brain power, I call it, within the group is astounding. It's not for everyone, but if it piques your interest, you should definitely work to try to get closer so that you can understand. Because this isn't, I went to school and I made a passing grade. Passing grade is when you work your first exchange, your 10th exchange, your 100th exchange. You're always learning. Times change. As the economy goes up and down and moves forward or moves backwards, what you do in exchanges do the same thing. It's like an ocean. It ebbs and flows.
Do you like your job?
I wouldn't have any other job. I've worked for myself for way over 60 years. I had a job once. It didn't last long. And I never thought too much about real estate people. I have bought and sold hundreds of properties myself. I didn't like real estate people because they thought they had the answer to everything and they didn't listen. I was a little creative. They weren't. I have a problem there. In the exchange group, I still do exchanging. I still do straight real estate. You bring me $10, we'll sell you something of $10 of value. Exchanging, I get to be creative. And the creative market is what gets everything flowing, and pretty soon you can't leave it alone. It's like being a gold digger. The next gold mine is the next best thing. Exchanging is the same way. You find the value of money. Before working through the exchange groups, I had a different understanding of the value of money. Today, I have a better understanding of the value of my money and how that I can keep more of it and I can use more of it.